Why do a lot of people not like Christianity? Why do they not like Christians? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of Christians aren't actually following the teachings of Jesus, and therefore wouldn't really be Christians. See, anybody can call themselves a name, but that doesn't mean that they actually are who they say they are. Um, Hillary Clinton can say that she's telling the truth, but that doesn't mean that she really is. You have to investigate um, the claims, and you have to look at the evidence. Is there any evidence for what she is saying to be true? Always looking at the evidence. See, in Christianity, it isn't a blind faith, but it is an evidence-based faith. We certainly believe what we're reading based upon evidences that we find within scriptures, and also, we have our own faith that I believe is given to us by God. Because, see, a lot of times the outside world will look at Christians and say, well, you Christians, you killed all those people in the Crusades. You terrible Christians, you killed off all the Native Americans and you shoved God down their throat. You evil Christians, you put homosexuals to death. You evil Christians, you do all these terrible things. And they take a lot of things out of context, and they are assuming that all of these Christians that they're speaking of are actually Christians, when in all reality, those people that called themselves Christians that carried out the Crusades and that were terrible to the Native Americans weren't actually following the teachings of Jesus. Jesus clearly taught to love your enemy and bless those who persecute you. Anybody who does not do that is clearly not following that teaching, that command, that example Jesus gave us. Jesus was perfectly loving to everyone. And yes, he got angry, but when he got angry, it was a perfect righteous anger. There's a difference between righteous anger and unrighteous anger. Not one of us has a perfect righteous anger like Jesus had, because we're just that, not perfect. And that's something that's really important to understand if you aren't a Christian, and that is distinguish between who Christians are supposed to be, okay, and what they're supposed to follow versus people that just say they're Christians. It's kind of like saying that all Muslims are bad because there's some extremists that carry out evil acts. You can't be so generalized. You have to be factual in your claims and in your statements, and you have to back that stuff up with evidence. So, simply put, a lot of people, I think, are upset with Christianity and Christians in general because they see the hypocrisy. And they're looking at them and say, well, why would I want to be a Christian? They're the most biggest liars and hurtful people, and they don't and they're carrying out all these horrific crimes, and why would I want to be like that? I can be my own good person. I don't need God, right? And that's very unfortunate, because those people that are saying they're Christian and then carrying out doing bad things, it gives Christianity a bad name. And then people are less likely to want to come to Christianity to believe. But that's very unfortunate, very sad, because, see, if they would just go into the Bible and read the New Testament, they will clearly come to the understanding that Jesus didn't teach all of these horrendous things that people are committing and doing. That's why each and every one that is a Christian, we need to be a shining light to a dark and lost world. We need to set an example for everybody else. We need to show compassion and mercy and love to people. And a lot of love and a lot of mercy and a lot of compassion. Abundant mercy and compassion and love. Even when we feel like we're so angry at someone, we need to always remember how Jesus showed compassion to the adulterous woman who was about to be stoned by the crowd, but yet Jesus told her to go and sin no more, and showed mercy and compassion on her. And we also need to show that We need to remember how many times that God has forgiven us. We need to remember that Jesus took our place, okay, to save us from what we deserved, when we all deserve to go to hell, you know, because we've all broken the law against a perfect God, a perfect being. We rebelled. We have been rebels, okay? We have been rebels against what God originally intended us to be and to do, and we have rebelled. And He wants to make it right between us and Him. And you know, that's really important, to understand how much mercy and love and compassion He has on us. Okay? So when we think that that person we're angry at is the most horrible, undeserving person, that she shouldn't deserve our love and respect, we need to remind ourselves of how much that we didn't deserve, you know, to be loved. We didn't deserve to go to hell. Yet God, out of His love and compassion and mercy, wants to save each and every one of us, because He doesn't want anyone to perish. He wants to save us all. And He allows each and every one of us to decide to choose Him, to choose and serve Him, to choose and to believe in His Son for everlasting life. He gives us that option. He sets that water of life up for free. Okay, that gift of salvation is for free. He doesn't force anything upon anyone, because God doesn't want robot love. He wants people to freely come to Him, freely choose Him, freely love Him. That's what He wants. We're free creatures. And that's a lot different than what a lot of churches and a lot of pastors and preachers are teaching. Okay? So, and you know, when you allow God and you allow the truth into your life, it'll become evident to you in your everyday life. Okay? Truth will become evident. It'll correspond to reality. Truth will always correspond to reality. Things are either true or they're wrong. And when you have the truth, you'll be able to discern. You'll be able to have wisdom. You'll be able to know right from wrong. And you'll have good judgment. And you'll constantly be learning all this stuff too as you go along. It's not like you're just all gonna all of a sudden have everything, you know, available to you. But, you know, being a Christian ought to mean following Jesus, obeying God, being humble. Don't have a proud heart. Don't think that you're better than everybody else, because we've all fallen short. We've all have messed up. We've all done bad things. And we've all had bad thoughts even. So we're all on the same boat. And if you're humble, you know, that will bring you a lot of, I think, peace and joy and happiness too into your life. You'll have better relationships too, because you won't be so angry. You won't have all this fear. You won't have all this, you know, I want to get this person, you know. Just ask God every day to make you a more loving, compassionate person, really. And be real with people, you know. Speak out of your heart. Yeah, they might not like you. Yeah, they might think you're too judgmental, you know. And if they think that, just remind them that they're making a judgment about you, you know. Somebody says don't judge, well, they're judging you. Judgment is part of our everyday lives. It's about how we judge. Are we judging with a right judgment? You know, that's what we need to think about. So, before we get ready to pick up that stone and stone each other, we need to think about, you know, our problems, you know. So yeah, I think a lot of people would, you know, listen more to Christians if they were more loving, if they were more compassionate, if they were more understanding. if they didn't come across as holier than thou, know it all, um, and gave people their own freedom too. Don't You can't force anything on anyone. God doesn't force anything on anyone, and neither should we. It's simply engaging in a rational discussion with someone, sharing your beliefs, sharing your truths that you understand and know, and being friendly with that person, developing a relationship with that person, simply sharing the truth with them. If they accept it, they do. If they don't, they don't. You can pray for them, um, you know, and just leave it up to that. That's all you're called to do. You aren't called to force anything on anyone, to be mean or cruel. You might feel like it isn't fair that they don't believe you. I wish everybody believed me, and trust me, I've felt like that many times, but it's okay. Just let it go. Don't try to control everything and everyone. Give people freedom like God gives you the freedom. So I just wanted this to be an encouraging and uplifting video, and also to help people understand why other people would get upset and angry at Christians. Treat people how Jesus would treat them. Treat them fairly. Treat them with justice. Treat them fair, compassion, loving, and try to follow the teachings of Jesus the best that you can. And when you mess up, confess it. Confess it to God. If you've sinned against somebody else, if you've hurt somebody else, go to them, tell them you're sorry. Just that's what we're called to do. That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be striving to be like God, until eventually we're perfect. And so yeah, it's like if you find a rough cut, or not a rough uncut diamond, okay, in the rocks, keep chiseling it away, little by little by little, until it's very nice and shiny and perfectly cut and just glimmering. So much light and beautifulness and joy, and that is awesome. It's kind of like that song Diamonds by Hawk Nelson, which is a great song I really like. God turns us into beautiful diamonds, each and every one of us, if we allow Him to. If we allow God into our life, if we allow love and light and all of that beautiful power into our being. So, take care, guys. God bless. And I hope each and every one of you allows God into your life. Allow Jesus into your life. Listen to Him. Read what He has to say. Think about it. Meditate on it. Seek Him. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe. Take care, guys.